Gimbal on. Camera 5.
Exactly.
5, 4, 3, 2, 1. What's up, buddy?
I just pretend I don't know any of
Yeah.
that stuff. Feeling good, feeling great. I'm overly caffeinated, and can't ask for more than that.
I am too. My hands are very shaky.
Yeah,
right
so
now.
I told you I did my workout. I took pre-workout, did my workout, showered, came here. Now I'm drinking more caffeine.
Pre-workout is gnarly. I do not like it. Like
Honestly,
the C4.
I depend on it. It's my crutch now.
Gnarly. I'd rather have a cup of coffee.
So I switched to Red Bulls recently because they're tinier, the little 8-ounce ones. So
It's way better than
I haven't
Monster.
changed the amount of caffeinated beverages I have, but I've drastically decreased my caffeine milligram content. So
Okay.
pre-workout and then a Monster is really gonna.
Red Bull is so much better than Monster too.
I honestly miss all the Monster.
I think
flavors.
that the small can packs way more of a punch than a bigger Monster.
It doesn't though.
To
But
me
if you
it
feel
does.
that way, that's.
Yeah.
I mean, that's all it takes. Placebo.
Yeah, whatever. So how's the Twitch thing going?
It's very complicated.
Is
Honestly, I think it's more complicated than it needs to be, but I find that those types of things are kind of nice because they weed out the competition, like it separates men from boys.
Yeah.
Whereas,
Not everybody can do it.
right.
Everybody can do it, but not everybody can do it good.
Everybody could do it, but it takes a lot of work.
Yeah.
So it's not for the faint of heart. Like if you want to get into it, you're gonna have to do a lot of research and figure a lot of stuff out. And to be fair, I'm only on my second stream, and I still don't know what I'm doing, and I'm really just kind of,
What were you doing before Twitch?
It was Facebook Live all the
Facebook Live?
time, which was really just a necessity thing.
I like YouTube Live. I watch a lot of live streams
I
on
haven't used
YouTube.
it.
There's a couple of shows that I watch like every night. There's a few different ones. They do morning, Monday through Friday, and then there's another one that does night, Monday through Friday and stuff. But it's really cool because you can set everything up, like cameras, audio, all that jazz, and then just hit the live button, and it goes. And then you have super chats, so people can like donate. You're seeing the live chat.
Have you ever used Twitch?
No.
Because it's exactly like that.
That's what I'm saying. Now you had to find something completely different.
Well, so the thing about Twitch that is so beloved is it's a very community based thing.
Yeah.
And like I said, I'm just getting started, so don't look to me as the expert on Twitch.
Also,
but,
I'm hating on it because I know nothing about
right.
it.
You're like,
but
yeah, forget that platform.
I hear
Go to
everybody
YouTube.
talk about Twitch, and I know it's like the video gamers
But
platform.
People really live and die for the Twitch feed, and people get to know each other through the comments or the chat feed, and it's very community based, and everybody's got each other's backs, and everybody's really supportive, and people are like truly. I mean, I don't know if you have experience in Xbox Live, but you can make like real lifetime friends.
Oh yeah,
playing video games, and so same goes because Twitch I think pulls from that demographic so largely. I feel like
kind of goes hand in hand, like Twitch and video games.
Right.
And maybe that's why they use Twitch so much.
Which is kind of interesting as like a musician on Twitch, because 90% of the information is geared towards gaming, and music is a big part of their like subscribership or like their target demographic, but it's definitely secondary. So learning the ropes has been kind of interesting. It's like I look up a tutorial on how to do something, and they're like talking about how you would do it for a video game, and I'm like, okay. But I mean, they have good educational content out there. Twitch itself has put it out, but
it's funny. The only reason I would know about Twitch is because of podcasts, because they all do like something on Twitch as well.
Yeah,
Or,
I mean, it's a good compared to Facebook. Like I had said, I started
yeah,
there. It's a really good experience because I am able to use my real camera rig as a webcam, and I'm able to use our real mixer interface as our audio, and it all goes into OBS, which is kind of like your workstation, and it uses layers, which I found out nobody told me that, but it became apparent. Like,
what do you mean it uses layers?
So the same way in Photoshop or in obviously when you're editing in like Premiere, how we were talking about using the like adjustment layer instead. It's almost like Twitch is the same way. So layer 1 is going to be your audio interface. Layer 2 is going to be your video source. Layer 3 is going to be your alerts. which
That's
you
pretty cool.
use code to like inject in. Layer 4, like for me, for example, I have these little banners that run under the bottom, kind of like I showed you with that Instagram preview.
That's pretty cool.
Yeah, so I'm starting to understand it. I mean,
So
it's a
you
lot,
can
but
like almost create your own like framing
yeah,
as well.
exactly.
Like
So
you
all
can
those
have
frames
graphics.
that go around you are like little coded
Yeah.
sources that you just drop into your layers, and you can choose where it shows up, what it's underneath, what it's on top of. I don't know. Like I said, I'm not an expert, but I'm figuring
How does
out.
the Facebook Live work? Is it just cell phone or webcam?
So yeah, so cell phone is your webcam. You can use OBS.
Or I mean, so if you were using a laptop, could you like? There's no way to plug a camera in for that on Facebook either.
There is. So Facebook is really primarily for. My Aunt Mo goes Facebook Live all the time, and she's like, "Oh, I'm out here and I'm on Facebook Live, and look,
Aunt Mo,
friends,
dude.
yeah, Aunt Mo, Facebook Live." But when you think about why Facebook created Live, that's what it's for.
Yeah.
It's for Aunt Mo to go Facebook Live.
It's for a spontaneous event.
Right. It's for, if I'm at family Christmas, but you can't be there, like I'm going to Facebook Live you and we're going to chat. It's not really for a music listening experience or for streaming a video game. It's not supposed to be pro quality. So we used it at the start of the pandemic to play music, and it was really helpful to get in front of people because it's built in. Everybody's already scrolling Facebook.
I'm sure it's been kind of like a relief not having to play shows, but really stressful knowing that like that's your whole what's the word I'm looking for? It was like your whole source of income. Yeah, your livelihood is.
It was very stressful, but also like I thrive off of booking
pressure
things and well, just like opportunity, like and like ambition and like my serotonin comes from like getting off the phone and booking, all of next year with a new casino, and then I'm hyped for like hours. I'm like, yo, I can't believe I booked that casino and I got a date every month for the next year, and I get really excited about that, and like opportunities to just do more or better or higher volume or like those types of goals I get really excited and motivated by. So when everything's shut down, I'm just like, there's no light at the end of the tunnel. Like I'm useless. I can't book anything. I can't
give my
plan
body to
for,
the Lord.
Yeah, like I quit. Can't plan for anything. Can't, just found it hard to find motivation because nothing was.
Yeah, I
certain.
mean, it's not like you could grind to get a job. There's no jobs to get.
Yeah, and I don't want a job.
Well, I mean, there's no gigs to get.
Right,
like
right,
you,
exactly.
you can't grind for a gig because there are no gigs.
Yeah, everything's closed.
Yeah.
Do what you can. So for me, that felt like I can do nothing. Like I can't book weddings to shoot. I can't book, new venues, old venues, the same venues, like whatever.
Yeah.
I can't book anything. So that was a little like doom and gloom for me. But the live streaming thing, I think, is something that we would excel at, and we should have jumped into sooner than later. So I'm just glad.
When did you guys start doing that? I remember seeing a Facebook one a while back, like sitting in front of the stairs with the lights and everything, or maybe in the dining room.
We jumped on it immediately.
Did you?
As soon as our shows got canceled, I was like, okay, we're going live on Facebook instead.
I don't remember it going up that fast, but I guess everything started to run together there in
March,
the beginning.
I had like 2 more shows before I was going to go to Florida, and then everything closed down, and I was like, yo, our show's canceled, Ken. Want to just sing on Facebook Live for tips? And he was like, yep. And we were like, it was like day 2. We were like, yep, we're going Facebook Live. So we jumped on that wave immediately because, like I said, we should have. I already felt like in the back of my mind that we should have been live streaming months ago. So as soon as that happened, I was like,
before
silver linings, we're making lemonade out of lemons. Like, let's go. Time to live stream.
Yeah.
So it was really successful. Like, it was lucrative for the first 2-3 weeks, and then by the 4th week, everybody and their brother are live streaming. We've already done 4 or 5 of them. It's like you can only depend on friends, family, peers, fans, acquaintances to tip you for singing songs for so long before it starts to get to the point where it's like, all right, you're always Facebook Live.
How much do you have to drink to sit in front of your computer and watch a live stream?
Right.
You're like, woo!
I mean, people loved it, and it was really cool, like playing for people who we wouldn't get to play for, but it did get old
after
quick
so
for
many
everybody.
weeks, people just stop watching things
Yeah.
sometimes. If it's because it's not the same. It's when you don't get environment, you don't get atmosphere watching a live stream.
Yeah,
You get
well, I think
atmosphere being at that venue. And,
anything that's new and different too will get people excited.
Yeah.
Like I always think back to when I was in a band. Like when you're playing your first show ever as a 15-year-old in a band, like everybody,
so
your
fucking
aunts,
cool.
uncles, brothers, friends, cousins, like classmates, everybody's like, oh my God, we have to go.
Yeah.
And 100 people show up and you're so cool. And then when you play your 100th show, I'm texting everybody and they're like, nah, not available. Nah, don't want any tickets. Nah, not this time. And I'm like, cool. So whenever something's new, everybody will show up, and that's great. Like, I mean, like, not to discount the initial support, but you find the first time versus the 15th time, two very different numbers of viewers or attendees or whatever. So we did kind of beat that horse till it was dead, and our shows came back, so we stopped live streaming, but now going into what I've been referring to as the long cold winter that is COVID round 2.
Who knows though? I mean,
Well, nobody, right? But what I do know is that I think we're cut out for live streaming, and we're more available now than ever. So it's time to jump on and start building.
I would almost say like, if there's a way that you could stream Twitch and YouTube or something, like why not? Why not run it across the platforms? Because like, I'm not somebody, I don't really deviate from YouTube.
Yeah.
Like as a consumer, like I'm not out like Parlor and there's one that starts with a B I can't think of, but
you mean
all
for
those,
live streaming? There's Mixer. It was a big one.
yeah, Mixer. I can't think of the name of it, but there's all these like live streaming and just streaming platforms now. But I hardly ever deviate from YouTube unless there's something I have to see. Like something that
you gotta see.
I gotta see it, like because some people get their stuff taken off of YouTube, and it's like I have to go to this other thing to see it.
I would say this, and actually, shout out to Joe, Just Joe. So it's funny because I'm like, oh, we were the first ones to live streaming when the pandemic hit. My inspiration in live streaming, there's a guy, like I said, Just Joe from Syracuse. He used to play in a band who toured with, I want to say it was. Hell yeah, with Vinnie Paul from Pantera, maybe not. I don't know. I won't. Anyway, shout out to Just Joe. He's our inspiration in live streaming. He's been on Twitch now for like maybe a year or a year and a half. He's super successful, and he's been the one that's telling me like, "Yo, you got to get over here. Like, it's a good thing. It's a big thing." And even furthermore, before I was out playing the restaurant, breweries, winery circuit, he was out there. And he had like 300 shows in a year. Like,
so he's like one step ahead of you.
Yeah, and he's also he's a veteran, is what I'm saying. Like, when I was in high school, he was out doing what I'm doing now. And he's a great guy, and he's super talented. His whole thing is he's the human jukebox. And
what was his name?
Joe. So it's I think it's Joe Altier, I think is how you say his last name, but he goes by Just Joe because his shtick is he plays piano and he sings, and he can play just about any song. Like if you were to be like,
he's Ken with a guitar.
Don't go crazy obscure, but I know his song list is like 3,400 plus songs.
Jesus.
And he now runs things on Twitch where people come in and they request whatever they want because he can play it. But he's our inspiration and kind of like our live stream mentor. And even before that, when I was first getting into playing the wineries and breweries and restaurants as my job, I would look at his schedule and just be like, damn, like this guy's got it figured out.
It's kind of like your schedule now.
Right. Well, yeah.
Because you play a lot of
as
shows.
often as we possibly can while it makes sense.
I mean, you guys really do play a shit ton of shows.
Yeah. I mean, that's our job. So it's like if somebody does 40 hours at a desk job, it's like...
I had that same mentality on things.
Songs,
it's like if this were a day job,
right?
Like I have to be doing, like if I want to do music, I have to be doing music 8 hours a day, every day.
Yeah,
because like
it's
you're
hard
not gonna
to get yourself to do. But like when you're kind of like entrepreneurial, exploring your own like self-employed situation, it's like. A lot of the times, if it's Monday and I don't owe anybody anything, any music videos, any like marketing content for those clients, any you know, I don't have to live stream, then I'll just take the day off. But it's like,
It's really
shouldn't I clock
easy
40 hours
yeah.
this week, and wouldn't I be better in doing so, like further ahead? Or
Yeah.
it's hard to keep yourself motivated.
It's really easy to do nothing.
Yeah,
Like,
I love doing nothing, but I also love accomplishing things. So,
yeah.
But yeah, so we want to sing and play as often as we can, as often as people will have us, and we try to stay super busy. But it's been interesting this year for sure. But yeah, so shout out to Just Joe. Has always been an inspiration, whether it's like live shows locally or Twitch shows on the internet. Like either way, if anybody's one step ahead of the curve, it's him. So I look to him to see like what should the Ende brothers be doing.
That's pretty cool.
Yeah. So
is that the guy that you were telling me about when I was over last week?
Probably, but
Yeah.
I was gonna say you said you stick to YouTube. He was saying like he used to try to get all of his friends and fans and stuff from Facebook to come over to Twitch, but he stopped.
I get like the from Facebook side, but
Yeah.
I don't know. Sometimes like I said, I will leave YouTube if I have to.
Well, so another thing with Twitch though is we're not necessarily trying to capture, you know, the couple thousand people who know who we are right now.
You're trying to get new.
We're trying
audience.
to capture a whole new thousand
So,
people who.
Then is Twitch kind of work like a social media?
Yeah, definitely.
So,
I mean, not in that everybody's posting, but
no,
everybody's streaming, and it almost works more like a YouTube where people are just browsing.
Okay.
So you're like, I want to watch some live music tonight. Click topic live music, and then they send you feeds based on your interests. So
that's pretty cool.
And everybody kind of like supports each other on there too and shares each other's stuff. So definitely an opportunity to get in front of new eyes. And
yeah,
if people don't want to jump over to Twitch, then there's enough people to go around who are already there that we can capture, hopefully. But I encourage you to try it, and there's definitely truth to what you're saying. Like, if I can broadcast to both, why not? So, just taking it one step at a time right now. And Twitch, it's a big live streaming is its own like corner of pro audio and video, and it's like. I'm not saying I'm pro at either audio or video, but I have experience, and so to then take it to live streaming has been, it's been a journey.
When we were talking the other day and you were helping me out, you were saying that you'd never even seen anybody do anything live on YouTube.
Right, I've never used YouTube live. Right.
So it's great. Like if there's the 9 Club or Joe Rogan show, it looks just like it would normally, and they do it live like on. They do a premiere for the 9 Club. So, like, they have 2 shows, the regular and then the experience. On Thursday, they'll do, like, a live premiere. It's not live, but they run, like, the super chat. So, they film the episode the day before, they premiere it, and then they're in the super chat talking to the people as the episode's happening.
It's like you're watching it with the people who are
they're watching it with them.
So if I was to put out an Ende Brothers cover, I could premiere it, and we could all be commenting while we're watching.
And they could talk
like,
to you.
Yeah, you like that scene? Yeah.
But then the other side of that is, like I said, there's the like political commentary shows that I watch where they do them. There's one guy that does it every night at 8 to 10, and the other guy does like a mug club every morning for a few hours, and it's all live. But he streams it across all platforms. So.
Gotcha. Yeah, I mean, I ideally I would do that. I just want to get good at Twitch first, but honestly,
you just want to get it going.
Right, YouTube has always been a big thing for me in music. Like whatever micro career that I do have in music is all totally due to YouTube from like day one. Like early bands, Ende Brothers, whatever. Like it's always come from YouTube. People who saw us on YouTube or you know found us on YouTube or whatever. Like it's always been our main way of reaching new people. So I want to get back on that train. That's hard to stay up on for me. I want to keep crushing the Twitch game. It's like I just got to look at a calendar and be like, bam, 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 bam. Those are all work days. This is what I'm getting done, and then knock it out. So,
all right.
That's always number one. Get it
on
the calendar.
So now let's go back because you are like my greatest influence. Like you influence me so much with everything that you do. You're a fucking beast. How did you get into cameras and stuff?
First off,
photography.
I
and video.
appreciate that, and like I had shouted out Joe as like a mentor. I feel like it's super
Well,
important to have.
I've told
these
you guys
figures.
before. It's like there's the Peter McKinnons and Maddie and Daniel Schiffer and all those guys they're amazing, but to see like you inspires me and like what's the word I'm looking for?
I mean, motivates you.
Yeah,
maybe,
motivates,
like,
but just the inspiration. When I see you do something, it inspires me to like take my shit to the next level.
Yeah, definitely. Well, I'm glad to be that for you, and I think everybody's got that, and it's like paramount in keeping yourself. If not only just like, oh, if Tom did that, I can totally do that, or like.
I love when people are like, shit, if he can do it, I can do it. It's like, cool, do it.
Yeah,
like,
right, and which is the hardest part.
It's so easy to say, but I bet you can't. Like, a lot of people are like, oh, if you can do it, I can do it. And it's like, prove it.
Because... Well, I mean, like, generally, I wasn't always this way because I was an immature high school, like, child at one point.
We all were.
But
we all used to poop our pants. Tom.
Right. Hey, shit, dude, me included, used to. I'm sitting on it right now. I'm just But yeah, I mean, like, I wasn't always this way, but in my adult life, like, I just try to be welcoming and helpful to everybody, and like help others the way I would want to be helped, or treat others the way I would want to be treated or welcomed or whatever. But for me, when I was in middle school and high school, we used to use the little mini DV camcorders to film skateboarding. So that was like I was predisposed to, like,
everybody wanted to film skating.
Right.
I was talking.
That's what you do. If you can't film it, then did it even happen?
When I was talking to DJ, it's like we kind of had like this golden age of skateboarding when we were younger, because skateboarding ebb and flows so much.
Yeah, there's peaks and valleys for sure.
And we caught that. Like, we caught that ride up, and then it died.
Well, we grew up on Tony Hawk, Pro Skater games, like Viva La Bam, Robin Big, like all that stuff.
Skateboarding was super hot.
Yeah.
Like, it was the fucking thing at the time.
I was bitter at the time because I felt like I got into it early. That's what I mean. Like, back when I was a kid and I was in middle school and high school.
Oh, yeah, you were a cocky
I was bitter,
fuck,
dude. Yeah. And I was a smart ass, and I was not always nice.
Because you were good looking and you had gorgeous hair.
I don't know about all that, but I mean, either way, I was kind of a dick as a kid.
Yeah.
That's like, I'm so smart,
We
like,
all were.
Just trying to be funny or whatever. But so as an adult, I'm just trying to be the anti teenage Tom. But yeah, and skateboarding gets you filming, and this was before iPhones.
Yep.
So like, in order to
mini
get
DV tapes,
to
there's
get
a stack
YouTube
of them
video
over
out,
there.
right? Exactly. To get a YouTube video out, you had to connect your camera and rip it off the tape and get it into the desktop. That was probably like,
or deck to
this
deck,
big, like, so it was complicated, and it definitely like got me into.
Did you ever do deck to deck?
No,
we
used to firewire into our mini DV camera.
Yeah, I had one of those that it was like an editing board, but it looked like a VCR.
Yeah, you would...
And one tape came out of the top here, and one tape came out of the top here. So you would put an empty tape in, and the tape with all your footage on it.
And you would just kind of rip it from one to the other.
And so you'd play through and find the clip that you want on the TV, rewind it, and then hit record on this side, and it would record it to the other tape.
That's a little before my time, because I was editing.
This was from like early 90s that I had it. Yeah. But it wasn't until like 2000 that I was fucking with it.
But it used to be a big process to get on YouTube.
Yeah.
Like, it was kind of a big deal. It wasn't just like take a a video from your phone and just upload it, like, no problem. It was complicated.
Because it was tape too.
Yeah,
like, we were still using tape in the early 2000s.
I used to post these skate edits on a forum called Skateboard City, and I would get feedback, and it was always like, oh, you got to zoom past the vignette on the fisheye lens, or like, your white balance looks crazy, or you should film from this angle, or whatever. And like, through all of that feedback, I kept getting better and getting more like comfortable with the camera and editing in post, and you can see the progression of the terrible skateboard montages. So I think that was like a really big thing for me in cameras. And then
you guys also had a crazy crew in Seneca Falls.
Yeah,
our Waterloo crew was like, we had a fair amount of people, but nothing like the Seneca Falls crew. And
I honestly like missed that part of it so much, of just like, everybody skates, like, let's all get together. There's always someone to skate with. Like,
when when my school closed down and then I started going to school in St. Falls and like got to skate with all you guys, my mind was blown. The first
Who are
time
all these people?
the first time we went like ripping around town
Yeah.
and everything,
Dude,
I was
downtown
like, what?
absurd.
No way. Like there's a group of people, we're all the same age
Yeah.
and we're fucking skating.
Because that's what happens when every single kid skates. But I remember being downtown, you could find like 10 kids at the bandstand, 10 kids behind the banks, 5 kids at the skate park, 5
there
kids.
was like 4 or 5 of us in Waterloo, and we had this loading dock that was only like 3 feet high, so you could put the camera way to, like just on the ground, pointed up, and it looked huge, and stuff like that. But other than that, we had the Waterloo Park,
which was trash.
Yeah,
I mean, it didn't have to be trash, but
you know what? We didn't know any better.
Terrible.
We were so used to it; it didn't faze us at all. Nobody
I don't know
even.
Why I do this still to this day, but I just remember in like 2009 being there and being like, "This is the last time I'm ever coming back. I hate this place." And I've done that with other parks too, where I'm like, "Yep, cross this one off the list. I'm just gonna forget it exists."
Yeah, we didn't even know any better, and it was funny when people come and was like, "Why is the ground so fucked up?" We're like, "What are you talking about?
Yeah,
dude? The ground is fine."
You mean when you fall, you don't get your
it was a cheese grater, dude.
Scraped up.
Yeah.
But yeah, skateboarding was always like how I got a camera in my hands, and then later on, like 2013, 14, being in a band, I was like, I want to make some YouTube covers because, like I said, everything I've ever done sprouted from YouTube. So I was like, what's the best camera I can get to make a video? And I was like, DSLR. So having already
what year was that?
Like 2013 or 14, I think.
Oh, okay.
So not too recent now, but not too far away.
Yeah, I mean, I thought maybe you had gotten into it way sooner.
No, so yeah, just being in a band, I wanted to do some vocal covers, and I just looked up what the best camera was, basically, and they said DSLRs, and I had been on a couple of music videos, like, shoots, so I knew that, you know, video cameras didn't look like camcorders anymore. You know, like, they look like photo cameras. At least that's what it felt like when I first looked it up, where I was like, oh, best video camera is a photo camera. So I got a T3i, and
I didn't even know that like those cameras did that at that time. No way.
Yeah, it was like the newest thing. I think like in the
digital world,
late 2000s, like 2008, 2009, they started to realize that like, oh,
I'm wondering when
DSLRs make great videos.
When did they start making like digital DSLRs? You know, digital SLR.
I am not a historian, so I'm not even gonna hazard a guess. But
remember, I showed you that it was like the 1DX Mark 1 or something that I showed you on Facebook Marketplace. It was like $50.
Yeah.
I think so. I don't think that was film, and I think it was 20 years old.
That sounds about
so,
right.
Like,
though, like 2000s, turn of the century.
I didn't know that they were doing. I guess it makes sense. So.
Yeah. I don't think they did videos until like the late 2000s. But yeah, I basically bought a camera for that, and then I wouldn't even necessarily say that I like realized that I loved photography or anything, but out of necessity, just making my own content for like marketing my band, it just was like, how do I do this better? How do I do that better? How do I get this look? Like, just I've always kind of like, if there's no, I had said earlier that I'm really motivated by like accomplishments. So if there's no accomplishment at the end of it, if there's no reason why I'm doing it, I have a hard time doing it. So like Sierra and Ken, my fiance and my brother, are both creative just to be creative.
Oh yeah.
Like, let's sit down and make stuff.
They're
Why?
So
for the sake of making stuff.
They're so talented.
I'm like,
too.
you mean you can't monetize it? You mean I can't use this? Like, so if I'm don't see a point or an end goal, I'm probably not motivated. But with the camera, the end goal was marketing my band. So
I can relate to both of those things. Like I do a lot of things just for the sake of doing them because it makes me happy and I enjoy doing it.
Yep.
But on the other hand of things, like if I can turn a profit doing this as well, I'm also gonna try and do that.
Yeah. So like video games make me feel really guilty because I'm like, oh, I could have spent that time.
I'm not gonna make money doing this.
Well, when I was in middle school, I played a lot of Halo and Ken played a lot of guitar.
Yeah.
And look at us now. He's a guitar wizard.
You suck at video games, and he's a guitar wizard.
I don't. I'm okay, but the point is that it leads to nothing.
In the grand scheme of things,
I may as well have been juggling.
Yeah.
Like it. I mean, no offense to any jugglers out there watching the podcast, But
Lots of offense.
yeah, just could have cultivated a skill. So for me, cultivating the skill of photo and video was just because I wanted good photos and videos.
Yeah.
And for marketing my music. So it was always like means to an end.
I feel like that is your skill. Like your real talent is your like marketing mind. Like
Yeah.
the way you have this ability to network and like really reach out to people. You're very personable and charismatic, and like you got it like that.
I like to joke A, that I'm a cult leader, and B, that like I always nail the pitch. So I think a good cult leader should always nail their pitch.
Yep.
I mean, if you're
Jim
gonna
Jones
get
did a
any
great
followers, yeah, you could say I'm the Jim Jones of this podcast. You could say that.
Let's not.
Right? No, probably not. But yeah, basically just like I don't know. I usually am good at pitching myself, and I think that leads to a lot of like work and a lot of success, just through being like confident or maybe desperate enough or like motivated enough. It's like I want the end goal so bad that I'm not even gonna second guess pitching myself to get there.
Yeah.
I'm like, well, of course I will do the best because I want.
Well, you
I
have
want what's
this
at the other side.
You have this like, I think it comes from what you were saying before. This, you were like kind of an asshole as a kid. You were a little Jimmy son of a bitch.
Yeah.
But it's like you had this confidence, and so as you like got a little bit older and then the band and everything, you had this confidence that not a lot of people have. It's like people have to like force themselves to get like that kind of confidence where you kind of cultivated it, and as it goes on, like confidence is everything.
I mean, to an extent, yeah.
In a pitch or something like that, confidence
it's key.
is everything.
You definitely don't. You're not going to sell anything if you don't seem confident in it.
Somebody could be super timid and have something way better versus the guy that's super confident, and they're going to go with that guy.
Oh, well, he seems to know what he's talking about, and that's it. I just seem to know what I'm talking about. Like, I don't really know.
I've been there when you do it. It's great.
Yeah. But, yeah, I mean, like, I also want to just, like, another shout-out. So I had said I made a lot of videos to market my music. So in getting into photography, we made a lot of music videos with an SU student named Adam Gendler. And he shot like the majority of the Nasty Habit music videos, but he didn't have his car with him because he's from California and he's a student at SU. So anytime he wanted to do a shoot, I would go pick him up and drop him off. What was really nice about that for me is I was getting into photo and video, and he was steps and steps ahead of me. So anytime I would go pick him up, I would just talk to him the whole way about, oh, how does this work? How does that work? Like,
so it's like your film
explain this
school.
to me. He was like my in-person mentor, and I know you've had this issue. YouTube's great, but sometimes you have a question that YouTube just can't answer for you the right way.
I hit
or
you
can't
up all the time
understand
about
the way
it.
that you're asking it, or what.
Or they just don't
circumstance
have. They have a general situation that you're looking for, but it's not exactly what you're looking for, and there's no way to.
You can't put like, okay, so what happens if I take my microphone and plug it into the thing? It's like you can't. There's no
like,
long questions.
Even sometimes it's just a matter of how something is set up too. Like if you're watching, I know I was watching a Photoshop tutorial one time, and the guy's running through it. He's and I always search like on Mac too, just in case it's different from PC. And the guy's Photoshop interface is set up a little different than mine.
Right.
Like,
and he's
the
like,
buttons
and just
aren't
go to
all
the develop tab, and you're like, where is it? Like,
well, and I'll go up to it, and he'll be like, it's the third one down. You go down to the third one, and it's not the right one. It's not the same one that he had. So things are different sometimes.
Yeah, and
like,
just being able to explain your question and have somebody like
or talk it out.
Yeah. So he was like my photo mentor, and I would ask him all sorts of questions when I would take him to and from our video shoots. And so he was like a big part of me learning, or even like knowing where to learn from. Like he told me about Peter McKinnon like years ago. Like when I was living in the apartment and I was your neighbor, I was watching Peter McKinnon, and that was like his first year on YouTube. So without Adam Gendler telling me about him, I wouldn't have all these like, little mini lessons. So he was huge for me, and he still like will comment on my videos to this day, and I'm like, yes, Adam Gendler likes my video.
It was.
That may have been my camera hitting either a memory card full or a powering off. So
let's pause it real quick.
Yeah. Short intermission.
And we're back.
We're backsies.
Technical difficulties.
You know, I didn't
For
find
the
it very-
first time.
I didn't find it very difficult.
Opa.
Yeah. Yeah, it's a journey
Yeah.
starting a podcast and figuring out what works and what doesn't work and
Yep.
what could work better. Or, you know, maybe we talk for an hour and none of it's usable.
Yeah.
But luckily, I can
Audio
come
is
back anytime.
always good.
Well, yeah, exactly. That too.
Yeah, and you can come back anytime.
You're in my top 9, Chris.
You know what? Honestly, I'm surprised that I even got you.
Oh, you think? Really?
Yeah.
Dude, no
I
way.
was super surprised. I was like half expecting you to say like, nah, I don't know, man, maybe.
Nah.
But yeah,
Well, I was telling
mean,
Sierra, like,
I was like both sides of it. I was like, he'll definitely do it. But then at the same time, I'm like,
He doesn't
he
wanna
might,
do it.
he might not.
nah, I'm a nice guy now, Chris. Remember?
Yes.
I was an asshole. I'm not an asshole anymore. No, I honestly
Sometimes.
I'm happy to come in and help as often as I can. I mean, you help me on all sorts of shoots and like,
Well, I'd say that you help me more than I help you.
I mean, I don't know. You've been on those music video shoots. Those are long days and like,
Yeah, but that's a pleasure.
yeah, well, I mean, it's like a little internship almost.
Yeah.
But either way, my point is just that like, you need my help, I got you, dude. Like whether it's being on the podcast or, you know, looking at some footage or, you know, I don't know. I'm here.
Well,
You're my top 9.
It kind of goes back to what I said a few minutes ago. It's like you inspire me so much. Like I've been interested in like photography and video
Mm-hmm.
for a long time, but never like. First of all, I didn't know anybody that like did
Yeah.
it, and so it was kind of out of sight, out of mind. And I always I always thought about dipping into it a little bit. Like I want to
Yeah.
get a camera.
Always been intriguing.
This and that.
Don't know
and,
where to start.
and just never
Like,
pulled the trigger. And like I said, just keep letting things like fade off, and you know, always catching a drift every now and then of wanting to do it. And then, you know, when we started hanging out a lot, it was like I finally got to see somebody who's doing something cool
Mhm.
with something that I really like, and I've always been super intrigued by. And like I like watching commercials. Like a good commercial, it's fucking great.
Yeah, you are a commercial encyclopedia. That's
Dude,
why you're on my trivia team.
It's the best. Like some of the music that we listen to at the skate park from commercials.
Yeah.
The Band of Skulls,
Yeah.
all that stuff, dude.
Yeah.
It's great.
Saw it in a Jeep commercial.
Yeah, it was.
Now it's my jam.
No, it was a Mustang commercial. It was
I
like
mean,
the 2012
Either way.
Mustang or something.
Either way.
But yeah, just and then when we started hanging out and seeing somebody do something awesome, and what really planted the seed and made me kind of crazy about it, and it was still a few years, but when we shot that skateboarding video down at the skate park.
The Express little
Yeah.
promo thing.
Yep. When we did that, and then you edited it together, I think on iMovie, and we chunked out the Gorillas song.
Yeah. Looped the.
Yeah,
Yep.
what was it?
It's
Clint Eastwood.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I was like, I
That-
knew the
it
name
was-
had nothing to do with
It
the
was
lyrics,
like
but yeah.
just the harmonic part and
Yeah.
everything, which Instagram,
flagged.
yeah.
Of course. Makes sense. I'd
But
flag it
I
too.
mean, it was like 5 seconds of the song looped
Yeah.
over and over.
Yeah.
But yeah, when we did that, and I mean, it was pretty much
It was
nothing.
super basic
Yeah,
stuff.
we
Yeah,
could have
like-
made it on our phones.
Yeah.
Now,
But I did bring the camera down,
Yep.
and it was me skating in it. So
Yeah.
every shot required you being behind the camera.
Yeah.
So
That-
didn't
that
think
planted
about
the
that
seed
as like an
right there.
exposure, but
that planted the seed right there, and ever since then, I was like, I really want to get a camera.
yeah.
But you know, I had my own shit going on, and then a few years after that, everything blew up, and then you know,
I mean, we've had a lot of long phone calls about what
Yeah.
you should get next, or
Yep.
or what you're looking at, or like you're like, I just wanted to hit you up. I've been looking at this. Not really sure. I want you to talk me off the ledge. And then I talked to you.
yeah. When you
And you
can't
still
give me
jumped off the
when you
ledge.
can't give me a valid reason
Yeah.
not to get it,
Yeah.
other than like, do you really like need all that camera?
Yeah, I mean, if budget's not an like object or whatever obstacle, I mean,
Yep.
then yeah, rock it out, get whatever
yeah.
you want.
I
Like
buy Sony cameras.
exactly. I mean, hey, I was just like messaging someone about how I I like forgot that I owned a Sony for a while, and
Yeah.
then I was messaging Adam Gendler about slow mos, and I was like, well, I used to shoot on an A6300, so I had 120 frames per second. It was like my slow mo rig, and that's all I used it for. And I was like, man.
Which, by the way,
at the time, I didn't even own that much gear. I could have switched to Sony.
I wish. Yeah, and that was like your excuse to me
Yeah,
too.
I'm
Is
like-
I'm too invested in Canon. You're like, dude, you got a T3i and a
Right.
50 millimeter.
Yeah.
I'm too invested.
I might have had the 70D.
I think you did.
Yeah.
I'm just playing.
But yeah. But still, I mean, a 70D.
Compared to
like,
now, you really weren't that
my
invested.
most expensive camera body was the Sony at the time. So
Yeah.
it's like if I'm really invested, it's
Which was it really though?
yeah.
Because
I mean,
you sold it pretty cheap.
yeah. I sold it for what I bought it for, and I bought it cheap.
Yeah.
So
So was it really like the most expensive piece of
maybe
gear?
I should rephrase that. My most powerful,
Yeah.
which is, I mean, that's why
Yeah, alright.
Sony is great, is because they give you all these features for
In
cheaper than
in
Canon.
a sub
most
a
part.
sub $1,000 camera.
Right, exactly. To have 120 frames.
Yeah.
1080. You know what though?
I can do 4K 120, 4K 60,
I don't
4K
think that
24.
it had autofocus though. I could be wrong. Like I said, I don't know anything about anything, but I feel like the A6300 at 120 frames does not have autofocus.
I think it had autofocus. It wasn't the like the continuous that like mine is.
Mhm.
It wasn't as good, but it still had it.
Well, I mean,
like-
you could focus before the shot.
Well,
but
I
mean,
think it
like,
had autofocus too. Like if you're walking into the camera,
You know what this is, Chris?
Huh.
It's rampant speculation.
It's rampant speculation.
we-
Exactly.
This
Thank
is when
you.
you got to Google it and see
Yeah.
if we're actually right. Otherwise, we're
Well,
going to talk
so
about specs that we don't know anything about
The
for a long
screen,
time.
the screen is going to be over here in the future.
And you're going to be
we're
able to,
gonna be
like,
able to-
we're just going to Google that.
Yep. Pull up
Podcast about watching podcasts.
podcast on podcast on
Yeah.
podcast.
That's what we do.
But I'm trying to think because I know this. Like it didn't have the eye auto lock, but it
Mhm.
had the facial like recognition. Like it could lock onto a face. So if you're walking into the camera, it'll do it the whole way. But you could get this bubble.
But I am talking
behind
about exclusively in high frame rate mode, which is
Oh.
a different, like, it strips you of some
Yeah,
features.
man, I don't know.
Like, you lose the types of
Yeah.
servo autofocuses and whatnot when you initiate high frame rate. But now I'm just living in Canon world where you don't get 120 frame video at 1080 for any less than a few thousand.
There's a Canon button on the corkboard there.
Yeah, I've been looking at that the whole time actually.
So I had a Canon backpack,
Oh,
and
right.
so I
You took the Canon.
popped it off.
That's not nice.
I mean,
At least let them have their branding.
I
on your
kept
bag.
it. I didn't throw it
You
out.
gonna
There's
put a
still
Sony
there's
patch
still
on
a
there?
Canon tag on there, but yeah.
But yeah, I mean, I think really for me, it's like, I like the Canon color spaces. I'm really just happy with how the camera performs, and I'm used to the menu screens. And
Yeah, I was gonna say, let's be honest. Like they're really not that different.
yeah, nobody makes a bad camera
Yeah.
if you're willing to spend money. And even if you aren't willing to spend that much, you can still get a great camera. But either way, it's what I'm used to. I was just comfortable with it. Even knowing that everyone was switching to Sony and knowing firsthand that they give you some features like for a little bit cheaper, I still was just kind of like, yeah, but I love Canon. So
Yeah.
kind of like you with YouTube Live,
It's
where I'm like,
just a
hey, Twitch is
preference.
great. You can cut, and you're like, yeah, but I like YouTube Live.
It's just a preference.
Yeah.
Like
But, yeah, I forgot that I owned it, and then I remembered.
I
It was
wish I
kinda
bought
like a
that
little-
off of you.
I know you
Yeah,
should have.
like,
Would have
I
had a couple
really-
nice rigs.
I really wanted that camera.
And you know what I do have? I don't know if you have any use for it, but I found that I have a lens hood for Sony. I don't know what the size is, but I have a lens hood. So take a little peek
Take
at
it.
it. I think it used to go on my 50 millimeter.
Probably wasn't that the only lens that you had, wasn't it?
It's better in your hands than it is in mine, considering you shoot Sony and I shoot
Yeah.
Canon. So it's all yours.
So let's go back. Where did we leave off? We were neighbors.
We were neighbors.
We were neighbors, and I think isn't that where we were?
What are we tracking? My camera
Yeah,
life?
yeah.
Um,
So we were neighbors.
I
You're
learned.
watching
I think
Peter.
I was at Adam
Or-
Gendler, Peter
yeah,
McKinnon.
yeah,
though.
yeah.
Yeah. So
So you're talking with him.
right. So I used Adam Gendler a lot as a mentor and just somebody to ask questions from. And just like if YouTube wasn't giving it to me, Adam Gendler was.
Yeah.
And he's great. I tried to get him to shoot my wedding, but I like.
Oh.
But he's in
oh,
California and.
Yeah, I know who you're talking about now. We've talked about him before. He's
Yeah.
not going to shoot the wedding.
No.
No? Technical difficulty part 2. All right.
So Adam Gendler's not shooting my wedding because
shooting your wedding.
Yeah, Adam Gendler is not shooting my wedding because he's from San Diego or San Francisco or one of those things, California, and
Southern
he's
California.
never shot a wedding. So even
okay.
though he's great at shooting music videos and portraits and all that stuff, he just doesn't want the pressure of shooting my wedding as his first wedding. And if we're being honest, he probably doesn't want to fly across the country to do it too. So there's that. But I found another great wedding photographer who is going to fly across the country to do it.
Tom, I'm honored. Thank you.
Yep. You heard it here first. Chris is both groomsman and wedding photographer.
I'm just going to get some of those Google glasses.
With the little
that have the camera in it.
Screens and stuff. I don't know how it's going to help you, but okay.
Me neither. But.
So Adam was super helpful to me, but I would say another interesting part of me and my photo journey is I really made it a point to not declare that I was a photographer for many years.
Yeah.
I had started shooting in 2013 or 2014, and it wasn't until 2018 that I finally was okay, so yes, I'll take clients. Yes, I'm a photographer. Yes, I basically there's just so many people out there that are getting point and shoots and making a photo page and putting a watermark on there that I just never wanted to declare.
I am not a fan of the watermark thing.
Right. I mean, they're kind of useless on top of that.
Yeah.
I don't know about anybody who got a gig from a watermark, but
several people who will remain nameless are you got to get a watermark. You got to put your name in the bottom corner and you have to get a watermark or it's not real. And I'm
they're for a couple different reasons. I mean,
I could see in certain occasions I would do that, but
hypothetically somebody could take your photo and share it and nobody would know it was yours if they didn't credit you. And that's what the watermark's for. Or if you're sending proofs but they haven't paid for it, you'll watermark across the whole thing.
Yeah.
Or if you're just trying to get that extra little bit of exposure, you'll watermark it so that when someone says, "Wow, great photo of you," they'll be like, "Oh, and look, it's this person took it."
What I'm saying is they put it on everything.
Yeah. That's a very
I'm
amateur.
not gonna do that. They're like, you have to do it. You're not real unless you're doing that. And I'm like, I'm not gonna do that, dude. It looks terrible. I've seen some photos that people put that shit on and it looks awful. Versus certain photos that things go on and it looks good.
Yeah,
it looks like it's supposed to be.
They're not the devil, but the
but
point
not
is
even
just,
the watermark, just their signature in the bottom of every photo.
Yeah,
every single photo they take,
especially if it's on your own page.
Yeah.
It's did you have to sign your own photo on your own post on your own page on your own website? Probably not.
No.
But I didn't declare being a photographer for a long time just because I felt everybody does that. They get even an iPhone and they make a photo page and all of a sudden you got so-and-so photography and it's you're not.
Yeah.
I don't know. You don't get a guitar and then call yourself a guitarist. You have to learn how to play guitar. So I had to learn how to, take good photos and make good videos. And another part of it too was again, I really got into it to make content for my band.
Yeah.
And so even though some really great promo shots were shot by me on a tripod, I didn't really want to sign my name on it because I felt like that devalued it. Because it's oh, and this photo was from the lead singer of the band. They don't have a photographer or I mean, not that it actually matters, but when you're faking it till you make it, everything matters. And so I really was hesitant to metaphorically, or for lack of a better term, sign my own work. So I wasn't out there saying look at this photo I took. I was more cool band promo pic, right?
Yeah.
Don't tell anyone that I took it. That would devalue it. So really it wasn't until 2 years ago that I started I became Tom Photo Video.
It's nice to people don't know that you did something. Sometimes when people know that you took it, they instantly have a different view of it.
Mm-hmm.
So when somebody just sees something, they're like, "Oh, that's really cool," not knowing that you did it.
Fact.
So it's there's no bias or anything there.
Yeah.
It's not either they don't like it because you took it or they're going to say they like it because they know you took it.
Mm-hmm.
It's either you get a real view of whether they like it or not.
Yeah. And I think for me, it was just I just didn't want to look like a noob or step on anybody's toes or whatever. And I didn't want to come out the gate and be
well,
look
you guys
at my
are
amateur work.
Yeah, you guys are super perfectionists and stuff too. It's everything has to be very professional.
Yeah.
And very authentic and professional, and if it's not, I definitely don't want to be associated with it.
Right.
Or not associated with it, but I don't want to put my name on it.
Yeah. And so I think with photos, it's like I'd rather kind of like pull down the curtain when I'm good. It's like taking a fitness photo when you just started lifting. It's like, and now I'm buff. It's like, no, you're not.
Yeah.
Wait a little while and be patient, work on your skill, you know, and then when you say, hey, I'm a photographer, look at my work, it'll be good work. And
when you're,
be like,
when you're
yes,
down
you
to
are
5% body fat and you're
right.
fucking shredded, then take the photo.
Yep. And I think I'm rocking like a nice 19% right now.
Yeah, 5%'s unrealistic.
I mean, tell that to Greg O'Gallagher.
Yeah.
Well,
I don't know who that is, but fuck that.
You don't want to know. You don't want to know. Anyways, like it was a long time before I declared like Tom Photo Video or like I'm a photographer. And I think I also had some clients before I called it too. Which like to me kind of legit, like it was kind of like I woke up one day and was like, yeah, I've shot music videos. I have like clients that are pretty big. Like I'm actually doing it.
You felt comfortable enough in your work that you're like,
yeah.
It's
I kind of looked around and realized in the moment that I was a photographer and that like my work was valuable enough to claim finally or whatever.
I am a musician. I am a photographer.
Right, exactly. So I don't know. I became comfortable declaring it as part of my identity.
So just to go back a little bit, what was the first music video you shot? Because that's why you got into it. So did you start shooting promos? Did you start shooting photo and then move to video? Or did you
got the camera to shoot my own videos of me singing songs. And then I took photos as well because again, we're talking about running a successful Instagram for a band. So photos, videos, whatever, who cares?
Yeah.
The term music video is kind of like loosely used in this sense. Some people will use it for so like for some of my covers in 2017, we would shoot a cinematic sequence to go along with the cover.
Yeah.
Music video, not really, but sort of. I mean,
well,
it's all the same.
Is it really a music video or is it a live performance?
Well, the song wasn't recorded live, and we were going along to the music. I mean, so my point is just
so
that
it was
like,
shot like a music
would
video.
I call it a music video necessarily? No, but it was very music video-like performance scene of a cover that we did, probably like 2017, and then I shot some stuff for Sydney Irving, who is Black Mamba skate park owner's daughter. And actually David Jordan hooked me up with that recommendation. He was doing her website and was like, we need some great photos. Like, and he's like, you know what? Hit up Tom. He'll get you some great photos. So that's where that started. And I did a few for her. And I feel like just in this last year, I've been kind of like flooded with music videos, which has been nice because I have experience on both sides of the camera, and it's just fun to do. Like I just like taking the gimbal and swaying with the drummer and
it's
pushing
nice
in
to have a
and,
gimbal.
like, it's fun. It's just fun to do. So I like operating the camera on music video sets. I like designing music video sets, and I'm still learning and I'm still like kind of new to it. But I feel like, you know, every time I mess something up, I learn a new lesson, or every time I find myself in a different scenario where a client wants something different, I test myself and push it just a little further. And so I'm still just starting with music videos to an extent, but with each one, getting further, getting better, learning new things, and applying different techniques. And
I can really see the like step up in things that you've been doing.
Thanks.
In just the short time that I've been like even doing some stuff with you.
Well, so it's kind of like I said.
I can see this progression of where you went from like as simple and like cinematically simple, but like still looking amazing, to like you're starting to push more into like a traditional
concept,
traditional
narrative,
music
story,
video that has other than just band performance.
Well, the last thing I want to do is fail for somebody. So I always just like to do things safe. And even in music, like Ken and I are on stage and he's like, let's just jam, just play some chords and I'll solo over it and it'll be great. And I'm like, no, I'd rather rehearse it before I'd rather know how we're going to end. I'd rather know when I'm going to change to the chorus and back to the verse and all that. And he's like, no, we're fine. And I'm like, dude, no, I don't want to jam.
Scared.
Right. Like I just don't. And then what happens is I do it anyways and it goes pretty well. And we get to the end of the song and he cues the ending and it's a little sloppy. And I'm like, well, that's what you get. when you make it up on the fly.
Yeah.
Like, sorry, we had no idea how we were going to end when we started this song. So my bad that it wasn't perfect, but
Right.
you know, it's part of the territory of making things up as you go along. So never do that on a music video set. I usually try to play it pretty safe, at least to an extent. But I think that, like I said, this year I've been flooded with music video clients, and it's like with photography. One day I just kind of looked around and saw all the emails I was getting from clients and saw the work that I was putting out and was like, you know what? I think I am a photographer now.
Yeah.
And so with music videos, it's like now I'm kind of getting to the point where I'm like, you know what? I think I do see myself as someone who shoots music videos regularly and can put that into the portfolio and you know, like sell that skill, and I can see it being a big part of my business moving forward. So
Yeah.
just kind of like wait until my work tells me what I am or what I'm doing. And
Right.
like shooting weddings, I shot a couple before I declared myself as,
Which is
let's
a
do a wedding
great way to
photography
think
business.
about it, is like let the work tell you when
right.
you know you
So I'm doing
finally-
real estate stuff now.
Yeah.
Like, and it's
that's like a side of things that I've been like pushing. I've been sending out emails and stuff like
Yeah.
that to companies. It's like, hey, I can do this and
well,
this.
that's
for you.
how my band hired Adam Gendler. He was a college student who wrote us and said, hey, I can shoot music videos. And his portfolio was like almost nothing. And we were like, hey, we need a music video. Let's try it.
Yeah.
And he became the guy. And I know he got work from the work that he did with us. So same goes. It's just kind of like reaching out and seeing if people will give you a chance. And then before you know it, you'll say, wow.
I'm more or less just dropping information to people, just
Yeah.
letting them know that you're out there. I mean,
Right.
there's a reason their email addresses are out there. And
Right.
it's so
They're like for
it's so
inquiries
you
or
can
questions
get, yeah,
or whatever,
it's so
get in
you can
touch.
contact them. So
and you
why
never
not
know
contact them?
who's sitting there wondering,
Yeah.
you know, we need corporate headshots for our pizza shop. I know
Or
that
who's
sounds
not even
backwards,
thinking
but
about actually getting a photographer and just using cell phones, and then you message
right.
them and they're
say,
like,
hey, I'm
oh,
available and interested.
thank God.
Yep. So it could be the connection of a lifetime.
Yeah.
But yeah, I'm just, every new facet of photo and video finds me, and then I find if I'm good at it or bad at it, and I work until I realize that, okay, I am good. Maybe I can consider myself someone who specializes in food photography or real estate, or like I didn't know I was going to be shooting to run people's Instagrams until like I was. And now I've got content subscriptions with Three Brothers and the Thirsty Turtle and the Heroes Ballroom, and like it will probably continue to expand into more gigs like that.
Yeah.
And I don't really know who I'm going to be until the work tells me I'm going to be that person.
Right
or
on.
until the money proves that it's worth being that person. That too.
Well, I always say this too. It's like we live in probably one of the best places to live in the Finger Lakes. Like we live right in the middle, right at the top of the two big lakes.
For gigs, for me, it's huge. I tell
For-
people that all the time. It's
for
like
all sorts of stuff. For just like it's
Rochester, Syracuse, walk-ins, like
we're
you know,
40 minutes from all these cities.
Yep.
You know,
Ithaca,
we're very centralized, and it's a huge, like, it's been kind of a booming business. It's actually like we're watching it grow every year. Like, you know, when we did the FLX
excursion.
Yeah, the FLX excursion.
Yeah.
I was trying to think. I was gonna say live. I was like, that's not it.
FLX
excursion.
Yep.
Yes, the Rieslingers.
Yep.
But you know, stuff like that. I think we're the number one wine region in the country now.
It was voted or something like
it's
that.
crazy.
That it's one of the best,
that
or is the best, or whatever.
It's come to this, and like, I can see it getting so much more. And you even see the towns. These little towns are.
We just got the DRI grant.
Yeah,
in
they're
Seneca Falls.
upgrading and they're
Geneva
getting
got a
bigger.
DRI grant.
And things like the 5K in Seneca Falls, 10,000 people,
Yep.
and it's like that's crazy.
Well, it's all little opportunities, and I would definitely. I always describe Geneva as like a city on the rise. Like things just keep getting better in Geneva.
and
like
and it's happening to
it's
all
happening to Seneca Falls,
to
too,
all
yeah.
of them.
Yep.
Like they're just keep getting bigger and bigger, and more people are starting to recognize this area. And if you go out of state someplace and you say the Finger Lakes, and people are like, "Oh, I've been there. There's great wine."
Yeah, especially surrounding.
And-
a lot of people from Pennsylvania will come up for little vacations. And
There's a
stuff, and-
lot of opportunity for photos and videos and music, and like live music is a huge thing, and you capitalized on that market so early that now like you are the guy between the two lakes. Like,
I'm probably not the guy, but I'm one of the guys.
well, yeah,
You
because
know,
the
like,
other ones can.
well, no,
So
no.
you're
Yeah.
one of the guys.
That'd be nice. But yeah, I mean, there's also, like I said, Joe has been
Yeah.
running the scene for 10 years. Like,
Yeah, but didn't you
Nate
say he's
Michaels
from
is another
Syracuse,
heavy hitter.
right?
Like, yeah. But
So
I
I'm
just
saying,
mean,
like, between the two lakes, like, you know.
sure, there's a
right?
little bit of name recognition,
Yeah.
and we definitely, I wouldn't say that I'm the guy, but I do have a lot of expertise to offer anybody if they wanted to talk about live music in the Finger Lakes or wanted to understand, like, you know, the different venues or opportunities, or, you know, like, I'm a small part of the scene.
Yeah.
And I'm lucky enough to call it my home scene because it does pay my bills. So
Yeah.
I wouldn't say I'm the guy, but
Well, I mean, you're the guy for this scene of, like, this live music and outdoor events and stuff like
sure.
that. Is
Well, I have a ton of experience for sure.
You do a lot of work, and you do them at a lot of different places, and you always have a full schedule with it.
Which
So
has
it's
been
like,
helpful when it
yeah.
comes to photo and video too.
Yeah.
Like, I couldn't tell you the amount of, like, wedding venues that are also places that I play acoustically where I'm a preferred vendor as a wedding photographer because they know me and trust me as Tom of the Ende brothers.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? It's like I didn't prove myself as a photographer as much as I proved myself as an individual. So they're like, "Oh yeah, we know you. We love you."
I think we've talked about this
seen your
before,
photos.
where it's like, and I think I said it too, not to discredit any of, like, your skill and talent, but it's different for me trying to get, like, photo and video work versus you, because you know these people, you've worked with these people already, and, like, you've networked with them, and they're more likely to choose you solely on the fact that they know you, not to mention you are way better than me. But I mean, like, I'm starting from no name recognition, nobody knows who I am, and I'm trying to do something, versus, like, hey, we know him, we know how to find his stuff really easily, and
I have references
great.
too, where it's like, I talked about Three Brothers a little bit. Erica she recommended me for the FL Excursion, which is what we did together. So it's like, you never know where serving one client well will land you 4 others. And then if you want to talk about name recognition and, like, you know, if I'm the guy or whatever, like, Erica's got some name recognition and she can definitely, like, act as a really strong reference for me, which is, like, I'm super appreciative of everything Three Brothers has let me do and collaborated with me on and trusted me with. And they were one of the first people to actually, like, I had said in, like, 2018, I declared myself photographer. That was around the same time that I started doing work for them. And I just feel like I looked through my portfolio and I'm like, man, I've been shooting for them for a couple of years, and, like, I'm, like, their unofficial photographer. And they're always really well prepared, and they have great ideas and great products and a great location and a great team of people. And it's just nice to play on that team and to be trusted with that team's ideas. And they make it easy for me to succeed when I do shoot with them because they do such a great job. So, like, you know, it's not an uphill battle with them. We're just smooth sailing. So thank you to them for trusting me and, you know, letting me grow while working for them. And I don't know, it's just been great. So
yeah, and like I said, I mean, I'm not saying that your work doesn't warrant as much recognition.
Sure, but name recognition goes a long way. And I've talked about, like, with Sierra about, like, moving and stuff, and we're like, yeah, but we're so much further ahead in this area than we would be if we went to, like, Florida or whatever.
It'd almost be like starting
starting fresh. It's like, sure, I have a portfolio, but
it is starting fresh.
I have no name recognition. I have no, like, references or anything. So
I can tell you, like, going out of state to, like, get a new job or something like that, a lot of people don't give a shit about another out of state reference. Like, they do not care.
I mean, a reference is a reference, but it makes a big difference when they already know who that reference is. You know, if you say, "Oh, so and so, I did work for them," and they will tell you I'm good, and they're like, "Oh, I know that person. Really? Great, you're in." Like, it does go that way.
When I was out of state and I tried to get just a regular old bullshit job,
What was it?
The places that I had listed. It was at a
Subway
pizza. It was
sandwich
at a
artist?
pizza shop.
Yeah.
But the references that I had listed were in New York, and this is in Georgia, and they were like, "We don't care about that."
Yeah.
They're like, if it's not here, like, how do we even know it's real? I'm just like,
I mean, I think about that. There's famous cases of people lying on applications and then becoming like.
Oh yeah.
So I'm like, man, what am I gonna lie about on my application? What can I fake that I know? But you know what's funny about that is we talk about all this stuff that I know or I'm good at or whatever, and like, if I was to put together a resume, I just don't have jobs. It's not like I was the marketing and events coordinator at so-and-so successful business for 5 years. It's not like I have a degree in, art and design. I don't, on paper, it's like I don't have a lot to show for myself, but I will nail the pitch. And if you're looking at skills, like I got a backpack full of them, like, but I don't have any real actual
I'd say that your resume is more than adequate.
I've written it out though, and it's very self-employed, self this,
but that's
that.
fine.
It's
like
yes and no. I guess I mean, like, there's some truth to be, there's some truth to real, like, physical hard accomplishments and like positions. So it's like I've always kind of run and gun. Like, I'm a wedding photographer. I'm a acoustic musician in the Finger Lakes. You know what I mean? Like, I've done all this stuff. I've presented all these businesses so well, but like in actuality, like, it's all kind of nothing. That's why I got to nail the pitch, dude.
I wouldn't say it's nothing.
I know, but I just mean, like, devil's advocate. Like, I've looked at my own resume, and if you look at Sierra's resume by comparison,
your resume
she's got the degree, she's got the position.
I don't think the degree matters though. It's your
it
resume.
Doesn't matter
your
until
resume is
somebody else has it.
Your reel and your portfolio.
Sure, but I mean, like, put me next to somebody with all those things, but who does have they're gonna get it. It's just the way it is. I'm not fishing for compliments or like trying to shit on myself, but I'm just saying, like, it's true. Sometimes I'm like, yeah, I could do that job really well. Let me just put together I guess I don't have a resume because I've spent the last 5 years self-employed.
So you know who, like, Ty Evans is?
Yeah.
The guy that films skating. So there's another guy, Chris Ray. He's also a filmer. And they did similar work together, like Spike Jonze. Like, these guys just filmed skateboarding, and now they film Academy Award-winning movies.
Sure, right.
And none of that came from going to film school. None of them have college degrees or, worked for these massive companies.
A lot of it is connections and work experience.
It was just skateboarding companies like Ty and Chris. They do work for the NBA and stuff. They shot stuff for Allen Iverson.
I want to shoot a sideline at an NFL game.
They do.
I
mean, it's not even that. They do, like, commercials for the NBA and stuff. So they're doing, like, or the individual people themselves. They're making, like, real B-roll, like, crazy stuff, not just pointing the camera and following players and being, camera 12 or whatever.
I want to be camera 12.
They're doing these creative things, and none of them have degrees in it.
Yeah,
like, their film school was right. Like,
but
that was their film
school.
school.
Right's a big deal. I know it's a bigger deal to us, but I mean, like, it is a 2004 full length, like,
but Spike Jonze is the one that, like, is just telling them what to do. They were just, how I say, I'm just a gimbal.
Yeah,
it's like they were just a gimbal.
Sure.
Spike Jonze is like, hey, go do this and go do that. And he was the guy, and before that he was shooting, like, what was it, Rubbish Heap or something like that, but some bullshit. But, Chris Ray shoots for NFL Films now. And the way he got that job was just by having his reel and stuff on Indeed. And then somebody that he was friends with on Facebook, like, I don't know if you've ever been on Indeed, but you have, like, people that you know.
Sure, like, connections, kind of like LinkedIn.
Under that was, like, somebody that knew him worked at NFL Films and got a hold of him.
Yeah.
And, like, Chris Ray does so much stuff, and he's so good. And he's an ambassador for GoPro, but it's all just from skateboarding.
Yeah, I mean, that's what I was, like, we had said about even, like, me being on YouTube. Maybe you just have your stuff everywhere, and, like, put it out there and take all those those opportunities to present yourself, and you never know if sending that email, if they just fired their, so and so or whatever. Like, I don't know. There's opportunities everywhere for sure. Just got to work those 40 hours of self-employed.
Yeah, I am not great at it by any stretch of the imagination, but I'm always trying to like keep pushing forward and keep doing something new and just keep trying and trying and trying. It's kind of that trial and error, baptism by fire of making videos.
Well, that's like I always say the best lessons I learn when I'm making stuff is messing things up.
Yeah.
And then I can look back and be like, wow, we made this whole music video. We messed that aspect up. Like, I will never mess that up again.
That's what the only real mistakes are, the ones you make more than once. So.
Hey.
That's why we fucked this one all up.
Yeah, exactly. Right. But that's what I mean. And also, who better to mess up with than me?
Yeah.
Like, I understand when a camera overheats in 4K for a 15-minute shot, but your next guest might not. Yeah. So better to have the camera overheat in 4K for 50. You're like, at least
I'd really prefer it if my camera doesn't overheat.
Right. Well, don't put it in 4K.
I'm gonna get like a fan or something like right on it and just blaring on the camera.
Just shoot it in 1080. You'll be fine. But yeah, I mean, we're all just making our way through it.
Yeah.
And what we make this year and next year, we won't probably like in 5 years, but that's why you have a delete button.
I try not to. I don't like to delete things. I like to not post until I'm like happy with it. So that means like
archive things.
Yeah.
They don't have to be gone forever, but they have to be gone for the public.
Yeah.
I want to see all my old shitty work, but I don't want my new client to see all my old shitty work.
True. True.
But yeah, it's fun to look back and I don't know. There's a lot of stuff that I've put out that I thought was good, and then now here we are in 2020, and I'm looking back like, that was not good.
It's a cell phone.
People get bummed when you take that stuff away, though. Like I've taken covers down that I shot that I didn't like, whether it was performance or video aspect of it, like visuals, and people are like, "Hey, I was searching for that cover and I couldn't find it," and I'm like, "Really? You liked that one?"
Yeah.
I took that down because I didn't like it. Yeah. Like people like it.
Well,
One man's trash is another man's treasure.
We're always critical of our own stuff anyways. It's like nobody likes to look at something they've done too long because they'll just start judging it more and more and more.
Yeah. I mean, that's Ken and I writing songs.
Yeah.
You write it and you're like, oh, we're almost done. Now that I hate it, like, and I don't want to finish it because I just sang it 150 times trying to figure out how I wanted the next part to go. It's like before you're finished, you're like, oh, well, I hate this one now.
Yeah.
And
well, or like with all this stuff, I could spend months and months and months trying to get this place exactly, like just perfect, exactly what I want, but I could also just start doing it.
Yeah, just start hitting record and start making mistakes and start making good stuff and find out what does and doesn't work and get the process.
No matter what, I know I can make something that can be put out, and it'll be good.
Exactly, and that's the other thing too is like
I know, I can make something that can
be, really, like how bad is it going to be when you have everything that you know and understand about photo, video, and audio? It's like what's bad to us is not bad to a pedestrian.
Yeah,
and not that we're not pedestrian in our own way. So we're
the civilian world.
Extraterrestrial.
So I like to say.
What is it? What's the Eminem? Extraterrestrials running over pedestrians. I don't know.
Killing lesbians.
No. I think it's while he's screaming, "Let's just be friends." I think it's My Name Is, but anyway.
Hi, my name is.
Yeah, so just
is.
do. It's better to do and to kind of bang your way through the dark hallway than it is to like never walk through the hall to begin with.
Oh yeah.
So.
Well, shit, man. That's a good place to stop.
Yeah. Thanks for having me, and.
Like I said, you're a huge inspiration to me.
Thanks, dude.
I can't thank you enough for everything that you've taught me, showed
honored
me.
To be your Adam Gendler.
All the good times we've had, and
Yeah, and we'll continue to
You're
have.
the Peter McKinnon of Seneca Falls, and.
I mean, okay, I'll take it. What's up, everybody? This is the Peter McKinnon of Chris's podcast. You could say I'm the Peter McKinnon of this podcast. You could say that.
Yeah, you could.
Yeah,
I'm not gonna, but
you could. But you could say that. All right. Well,
does that make me Maddie?
Nah. We're the Tom photo video and the Christographers.
That's right.
And that's all we ever need to be.
Yep.
We just look to Maddie and Pete for inspiration. So.
Damn right.
Well, dude, thanks for having me. Congrats on kicking this off and doing it.
When are you streaming?
Well, I'm streaming in a couple hours.
Oh.
Yeah, so you should download the Twitch
Yeah,
app. You
I
really,
will.
really.
I will.
Don't say you will if you won't.
I will. I will.
Okay. I see
How
the hand up,
often-
but you don't
how
have
of-
Wi-Fi. How are you going to get the app?
I still have internet. Like
Okay,
your
sure.
phone just naturally has service, you know.
It's
You don't
called
need
data
what? Yeah,
plan,
you don't
but-
need Wi-Fi.
Yeah, well, get Twitch. Watch me tonight. And we're looking at figuring out our regular schedule, but it's hard to do when we have regularly scheduled gigs.
Yeah.
But that's just an excuse. So we're going again on Wednesday. And I'm going to try to get something in stone like that, where it's like every Monday, every Wednesday. Because if you're streaming, you got to do it often or people are going to stop caring. So
Cool. What's the name under the Ende Brothers?
Ende Brothers. So what I realized about the Ende Brothers, it's vowel on vowel, THEEND.
Mm-hmm.
So it gets a little confusing. So whenever it's like a handle where it's all smushed together, Ende Brothers.
Ende Brothers.
Ende
That's
Brothers.
right. That's
Yep.
right. Yeah.
So no the, just Ende Brothers. ENDE Brothers.
Brother.
Brother. All right.
All
That's
right.
a wrap.
That's a wrap.
Peace
Two.
and love.